What's up, money growers? Jacob back here with another video to help you guys out with something that was a little bit of a headache for me. Getting a fraud alert removed from Transunion. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. This was kind of annoying because Transunion is also the one who actually was who ended up putting the fraud alert on my account. So we're going to talk about how that happened, all that kind of stuff. But guys, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So hey, if you're new here, welcome. For those of you that are returning, happy to have you back. There's a core group of you guys in the comments section I see regularly who are awesome. If you're new here or if you've been around, you've just never said anything in the comments, just, say hi, say hello. Right? Hello, put a wave emoji, right? Whatever you want. Put an emoji in there, waving hi, something like that. Just let me know you're there and you're watching. And hey, if you get some value out of the video, hey, give it a thumbs up as well, all right? So I want to share this with you guys for how to get a fraud alert removed from Transunion. It was really easy with Equifax. Okay, that was like short, sweet, to the point. Transunion was a bit of a pain, and part of it's just how their system is set up and just some of the training they have for their employees. And then Experian was actually the worst. Oh my gosh. Experian was the most annoying one to deal with. So as we talk about this, guys, this could happen to you. So I'm going to give you guys my advice here and my insight. Hopefully it'll save you some of the headache that I had to go through. So Transunion. Now they're the ones who actually put the fraud alert on my account because I was actually trying to dispute a hard inquiry. That's what I was actually trying to do when I called Transunion, and it's all their automated systems, so you don't get to talk to a human initially. So, like when I dispute with Experian, you say you want to go to the fraud department, and that's where you go. You go to the fraud department, and then you put in your dispute for a hard inquiry. Well, Transunion doesn't work like that. Transunion, if you say, like, what are you calling for, and you say fraud or something like that, they send you to the fraud department, and they start asking you these questions. It's all automated. You don't get to talk to a person. So they ask you all these questions, get your information, and then at the end of it, it says, okay, we have now placed a fraud alert on your credit report. They don't even tell you that that's actually what you're answering the questions for when you're going through the frickin' process. They don't even tell you. It's not till the very end when they say, oh, we've put a fraud alert on your account. And the first time that happened, I was like, wait, what? And like when that happened, I was like, oh, shit. So that was when I called them and also found out that actually, when they do a fraud alert on one credit bureau, it actually goes to the other two as well. So I had to call all three and get them removed from each one. Because of Transunion. So I found out later that when Transunion, when you call, you either want to say you want the dispute center or you just call the dispute center directly. So their number is it's 1-800-916-8800. So 1-800-916-8800 for the dispute center for Transunion. That's what you want, the dispute center. Don't say fraud department. You want to go to the dispute center. So that way you don't have what happened to you or what happened to me happen to you, okay? Because that was a pain in the ass. So anyway, you want to go to this dispute center, ask for them, or you said you call the regular customer service line and say, I want the dispute center, okay? Now, going through the process, they obviously have to verify your identity, right? They got to know who the heck you are to be able to take to be able to look up your reports, your account, and, remove the fraud alert, okay? So as you go through it, the employers are going to ask you questions, right? And these are questions that you would often see, like, on your credit report. Or not in your credit report, but often, like, if you're going to apply for a loan, like you apply for a loan online, there's certain questions they ask you, like, which of these addresses have you lived at in the past? Which of these companies are you affiliated with? All that kind of thing. Those are the questions they ask you. And then the TransUnion employees, I don't know where they're not here in the U.S. I don't know where they're. I kind of want to guess Brazil, but I could be wrong. But when you're talking to them over the phone, like, they're kind, they're courteous, but like you can tell they're trained so like rigid that it's almost like customer service to a fault, where it's like robotic. It's basically what it's like, and you're just trying to be on the phone like, dude, I just need to get this alert removed and move on with my life. But they're like robotic, and now they ask you the question and give every single answer. And because there's like language barrier, and maybe a cultural barrier to a degree, but more so language barrier, just the enunciation on certain things. It's like, which of these streets, have you lived on in the past? And they give all four or five, I think it's four possibilities. Now sometimes the enunciation's off, like it sounds strange, or something like that. Because if you get one question wrong, then they'll be like, oh, you didn't pass. So if you get a question wrong, then they'll say you didn't pass. So you have to go through it. You have to be able to listen to it. And sometimes, like, they'll ask you a question, and the first answer they give, or the first possible answer, like, yep, all right, that's it. Like, I know that's the one. That's the answer. Let's move on. But they want to, like, read every single one. Like I said, it's so structured. It's almost like robotic, and like it loses any human touch. So that part's a bit annoying. Just dealing with some of those kind of communication barriers when you go through that. But eventually, it was able to get it was able to get worked out, which was good. But the thing that was annoying at the end was after the whole thing, I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, man, he goes, okay, well, we removed the fraud alert. He goes, now, he goes, I have a confirmation phone number for you, so when you're ready, just let me know. We'll write it down. I said, okay, well, can't you just email this to me? I said, can't you email me the confirmation, like so I have some kind of proof, this has been taken care of. And he says, oh, he goes, well, no, he goes, I can't. I'm like, you can't email. It's the 21st century. You can't email me? And he was just like, oh, no. He goes, I don't even have that option to enter an email in my system. Like, so the only way I can have any record of this is if I get this confirmation code, physically write it down, and I just have to store it and keep it. It was like, yeah, pretty much. So eventually it worked out, but just going through the questions was kind of frustrating. It was kind of annoying. Because one of the questions that they asked me was like, oh, you didn't get this question right. So we had to go through even more questions again. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it did take a while. The cultural barrier, or the language barrier, made things a bit of a challenge. So like I said, Equifax was straight to the point. Easy peasy with Equifax to get it removed. TransUnion was kind of a pain, having to go through more and more questions with that. And just the length of time when I'm just like, okay. And I was annoyed with the fact that it was going through their system with TransUnion. It was the whole reason I even had to call to remove the fraud alert, because I didn't get a chance to talk to anyone the first time around and just put this fraud alert on my account. So now, because I went through that system, not knowing how it was going to work out, I had to call the other bureaus. I'm like, great, now I got more things to do. I got to call all 3 bureaus to get this removed off of my credit report, because it stays on for a year, because they'll send you something in the mail. Actually, hell, I got it right here. They'll send you this nice little letter in the mail. Yep, from TransUnion. It'll come right here, and it'll say, this is my business address, by the way. People worry about that. This is my business address, okay, not where I live. They send you this little letter right here that says, we added the fraud alert you requested to your TransUnion credit report or remain on your report for a year. Right? It says, notifies anyone running your credit to take appropriate safety measure to protect you. It says, we will also notify the other 2 credit bureaus to add a fraud alert as well, saving you the time and effort. It's like, it didn't save me any time or effort, because it wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. So it cost me time and effort. So then you do get and they do send you a credit report with it. So you actually will get a free copy of your credit report with this. But anyway, and if it's a mistake or some issue like what happened with me, you call them back, you go through the process, you answer the questions, you either ask for the dispute center or you call the 1-800-916-8800 number, 1-800-916-8800. Or you call that number directly for the dispute center, and you go from there. But you can call, ask them to remove it. Once they remove it, it's quick, it's instant. It's not a big deal. It's just the annoyance and the hassle of having to go through the process of it. So, this little letter here, it just talks about your rights also as with your credit, right? Getting a free credit score, obtaining information from a debt collector, blocking fraudulent information, that kind of thing. So they're going to send you this little letter saying, this little, basically a postcard, saying that they put the fraud alert on your account and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to remove, just call them back and they'll remove it right away. It doesn't have to be on there for an entire year. But that was a bit annoying with TransUnion, because they were the ones, like I said, going through their process. The reason I had to remove the alert in the first place. And trying to remove the alert was a bit annoying, but not quite as annoying as Experian was. So, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this experience helps you a little bit. If you need to remove a fraud alert on TransUnion, you can learn from my experience here, and hopefully it goes a lot smoother for you than it did for me. So, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being so awesome. And until next time, keep growing your money.